Hi everybody, I'm Ann and I'm a volunteer with the Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society, and today I'd like to talk to you about designing your yard around birds and bird habitat. So in my yard we have a lot of things that support hummingbirds as well as other birds. My yard list is over 50 different species of birds, and we noticed right after planting a whole group of native plants that we started to have more and more birds in our yard, more variety of birds in the yard. So I invite you to join me in planting native plants and having more birds. Behind me is a garden that really is attractive to hummingbirds. So I have some non-natives in here, some of the salvia you may know already. In the back, the purple stuff is Mexican sage, technically not native, but boy do the hummingbirds love it. And then in the front here, this is a California fuchsia, which in another few weeks will have some red flowers, and the hummingbirds will be adoring that. When you're thinking about birds and bird habitat, you want to be thinking about food, water, shelter, and a place to raise young. So I talked a little bit about the nectar for food for hummingbirds. Of course, this grows pretty thick, so it gives good shelter. And then the place to raise young. One year we had juncos build a nest in the bushes. They like to nest on the ground, so they need someplace that's going to be hidden from predators, but that they can get in and out of very easily. And in the back there, you can notice this entirely unsuitable green birdhouse. We built it before we knew much about building nest boxes. It's painted. Please don't paint yours. It's just set on the counter. Please don't do that. You want to raise it up so that it's away from predators. But the Bewick's wrens in my yard love this nest box. So this year they raised about 3 or 4 baby chicks. Last year they raised about 5. Every year they nest in it and they adore this nest box, so I just leave it. This has been here for a number of years and it's looking a lot happier. I learned how to prune it and it's responding really well. It's an island snapdragon, not native to this particular area, but it is a California native. And you can see these red flowers. I love seeing these, and the hummingbirds love it. This is a kind of penstemon, and it has its very brand new flowers. This is new to my yard. I don't know much about it yet, but these blue flowers should be attractive to hummingbirds and to pollinators. And then this Margarita BOP penstemon. I like to think of this as my wildflower garden. The Pacific irises are a native iris. They've spread really nicely, and really I need to divide them, but they have this gorgeous show of purple. I don't know that the birds like it particularly, but I sure like it. I have the Chinese houses wildflowers, which cover this area. I have the poppies, which go out, and the monkey flowers. I have a buckwheat, more Ribes sanguineum, and I like to see the flowers in here. So in this part of the yard, I started off planting a few wildflowers, and as you can see, they've really spread and taken over in this area. So at this time of year, I just love it because I come out here and it just hums with the bees. I've seen hummingbirds working around here, coming to my feeder. The hooded oriole comes to the hummingbird feeder. It doesn't mind that it's called a hummingbird feeder. And in here I have the tansy leaf phalacia, I have the poppies, I have some Clarkia mixed in here. There's some more Chinese houses. And it's just gorgeous. All the pollinators are loving this area. The Ribes sanguineum just loves my yard. This one planted itself, and as you can see, it's quite happy here. I have some more salvia for my hummingbirds. And then we have more California fuchsia. I have a couple of different styles. You can see some of the leaves are silvery, some are more green. This yellow thing is so gorgeous right now. Again, you see the pollinators on it. This coast live oak volunteered itself in my yard. It's probably about 10 years old. It's grown really fast. Coast live oaks are fabulous to have for your bird garden. It supports all sorts of insect life, and the birds love it, and often you'll see birds up there working through, picking out insects for their babies. So just remember, if you want baby birds, please don't use pesticides, because then you're going to kill all the insect life that they need to feed their babies. This is a spice bush that I planted. It's deciduous, but a very nice leaf. Tucked in here we have our bird bath and what we call the Ciraf, which my father invented. He did not invent the concept of taking a plastic milk jug, poking a hole in it and having water drip, but I'm pretty sure he invented the acronym CIRAF, Continuous Intermittent Replenishment of Avian Fluid. So we hang it. It's a nice simple way to have water dripping, which is attractive to the birds and helps move the water a little bit so you reduce the mosquito problems. This is 9-bark. I love the leaves, this lime-colored green, and it's so lush looking. It's deciduous, but it fills in so well. This is a ceanothus. This is a Ray Hartman ceanothus. and this whole tree turns into this cloud of purple blossoms, basically January through February. And you stand here again, the bees are humming, and it draws in a lot of insects. We'll see flocks of bush tits working through, chickadees, titmice, all sorts of birds like to come along here and pick out insects from it. This is a Carpinteria californica, and it blooms at this time of year, and I planted it where I can see it from my dining room. I just love the white flowers against the green. This is a creeping snowberry. It spread itself out. When people tell you it makes a good ground cover, they're not kidding. So again, you can see that's great cover for birds. When the baby wrens fledged, we've been seeing them in this area. We sort of suspect that they're taking cover in there and that the parents are showing them how to hunt from there. This is an osoberry and should have berries for the birds in the fall. I like to call this my secret bird garden. This is one of my pride and joys. This is pipevine. And it's a host plant for the pipevine swallowtail, but I love its flower. It's done flowering now, but then it has these dramatic seed pods. I have more ribes. I planted some native violets. I planted some native strawberries. This is twinberry, and it's supposed to be attractive to birds. It has a little orange flower. There might be a few hanging on here, and then it'll grow little black berries, which birds are supposed to like and come eat. And I'm hoping the California thrasher now knows about the berries and will come back and feast in the fall when they're ready. So again, in the yard, you can use native plants to have beauty, to have green, to have flowers, to add nectar and berries. They provide shelter. They provide a place for birds to nest and take cover with their young. You can add nest box, you can add water features, all these things so that the birds will come to your yard and stay in your yard and adds drama and interest to your yard. Thank you very much.